Hey, how's it going, guys? Ahsoka, episode 6. It started off with Hu Yang telling that story, right? He says, in a galaxy far, a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. I thought that was cool. The mention of that was cool, but if you think about it, it doesn't make any sense. It's a bit breaking the fourth wall. You know what I mean? It feels like, hey, this is a reference to Star Wars within Star Wars. And it just felt a bit out of place, even though it was cool. Surface level, it was cool. Hey, look, he said the thing. That's cool, right? And this is not the first time something like that has happened in this show. We saw Sabine fighting with like boken, like literally like wooden short samurai swords. And in this episode, we see her being ambushed by a bunch of fighters, all in full samurai garb. And the reason for that is because George was inspired by samurai films. But here's the thing. George was inspired by samurai films, but when did you ever see a katana or full-on samurai in Star Wars episodes 1 through 6? He was inspired by it, but there's nothing. This is way too blatant, way too over the top. This is way too on the nose, okay? You can show homage to, hey, look, I recognize that George was inspired by samurai without putting literal samurai in Star Wars. You know what I mean? Okay, but anyways, this whole episode focuses around the bad guys getting to this other galaxy. I was confused for a bit because they reached Dathomir. They reach Dathomir, and Dathomir apparently is the end of the migration path of the Purgils, which is why you see all these Purgil skeletons floating around the planet. So Dathomir is in another galaxy. Makes no sense, right? Because we saw Dathomir in the Clone Wars. So what is going on? Is this like a different Dathomir? And they just didn't explain it properly? Like, did the people from Dathomir come from another galaxy into the galaxy that we know? Because I thought Dathomir was completely wiped out. The Night Sisters are all gone. But we have them surviving over here on this other Dathomir and this other galaxy. So that's a bit odd. So Sabine and Balin and Shin and all of them, they reach, and this giant Star Destroyer flies over, right? So obviously it's Thrawn. It's beaten up. The thing is, how did Thrawn know to come at that particular point? It's like Thrawn was waiting for him. I guess the more important question that I asked already is, how did Thrawn even survive? How did Thrawn and Ezra even survive? They were exposed to hyperspace. All the windows in that Star Destroyer were completely destroyed. They were hurtling through hyperspace without any barrier. They should have been dead. I like that they got Thrawn's voice actor to play Thrawn, because Thrawn's voice, his cadence, the way he speaks is very important for the character. The thing is, his stature doesn't match up. The way he acts doesn't match up. The way he walks doesn't match up. The way he looks doesn't match up. He sounds like Thrawn because that's literally what Thrawn sounds like. But everything else doesn't. You know, I need more. My brother, who didn't see Rebels, he liked it. Me seeing Rebels, I'm seeing like I want Thrawn to have that gravitas to him. I don't feel intimidated by this Thrawn. Looking at him. My brother also pointed out that he has a little bit of a gut. If he slimmed down, he was, a lot more slim and lanky even. That would have added to that intimidation factor. But I don't feel intimidated. I hear people. My brother also said he looked like Elon Musk. I'm not getting that regalness from Thrawn, like the way he walks, the posture, all that stuff. I'm not getting that. But again, the voice is on point because it's literally the voice of Thrawn, so that's good. I like that. So when Thrawn walks in, right, you're looking at all these stormtroopers, and they have like these red stripes on them and all that stuff, like different kinds of paint jobs on these stormtroopers. And there's this one stormtrooper that has a golden face. That thing looked great. That thing looked That felt like Star Wars from another galaxy, okay? That's what that felt like. It reminded me of this armor set that I had in Elden Ring. It reminded me of, I don't know, just the way the eyes looked like the alien from what that Star Wars game that's coming out. That's supposed to be that story-driven, choice, whatever. That we only got the CGI trailer for. Yoda was in that. The alien, and I guess just because of the eyes, but it looked cool. It looked cool. It didn't feel like Star Wars, but now we're in another galaxy. It doesn't have to 100% feel like Star Wars. So things don't have to completely line up, add up, and all that stuff. So we send off Sabine to go and find Ezra. And she gets this wolf dog kind of thing, and they're riding around, and they get ambushed by those samurai guys, and the wolf creature runs off. And there's a scene where Sabine is walking, and the wolf creature, the animal is following her, and Sabine turns around and says, "You abandoned me. You left. Just get out of here." It's cute. The scene is cute, and the dog whimpers, whatever, and he stops following her, and she keeps walking. But then he gives up and he trots after her because he has nowhere else to go. The thing is, yeah, that's a cute scene between the two, okay? Like the dog wants to be with Sabine. But here's the thing. Who is Sabine to that animal? They literally just met. Sabine is nothing to him, okay? This dog is free now. He can run off and be free if he wants to. So I get the scene. It's cute, but there's absolutely no relationship between the two. So why would the dog follow Sabine? It makes no sense. I would take that. If I was a dog, I'd be like, hey, yo, all right, you get out of here. I'm just going to do whatever I want to do. I'm free now. Nobody's around to stop me. Okay, so anyways. So they stumble upon these hermit crab looking people. The voices of those things are cute. But how does Sabine understand their language? Know their language? We're in a different galaxy now. We're not even on another planet. We're in a completely different galaxy, and Sabine knows how to speak their language. Sabine even knew Sabine knew the commands to speak to the animal. Also, maybe they told her the command to stay or whatever. But this alien, this hermit crab man, she's having full on conversation with him, and we're in a different galaxy. She's pointing the gun at him and all that stuff. I was hoping like we're in a different galaxy. These people won't even know what guns are. The technology will be completely different, I was thinking we're going to get something very different. But here, we're speaking literally the same language. I don't get how that makes sense. So these hermit crab people take Sabine to their town. And that's where Ezra Bridger is. The guy they got to play Ezra, I think his voice sounds pretty similar to Ezra's from what I remember. But he does not look like Ezra. He's got curly hair. Ezra doesn't have curly hair. Ezra has straight hair. And maybe you could say wavy a little bit, right? This guy has full on curly hair. So when I saw that reunion, I was hoping like, hey, maybe I might feel something. The thing is, I don't care for Sabine in this show. She doesn't remind me of Sabine from Rebels. So I literally don't care about Sabine. And then this guy, he doesn't look like Ezra. So I didn't feel anything with that reunion, to be honest. So for me, this episode was nowhere nearly as good as the last episode. I mean, come on, you brought Hayden Christensen back and you actually did him right. Like, what are the chances of that in modern day Hollywood of bringing back a character and actually doing him justice? Okay? That was awesome. This does not live up to that. It's like, this was like an episode of Rebels, but just not as good. You had Sabine there, but she's not as good as Sabine in the show. You had Ezra there, but he doesn't really look like Ezra. You had Thrawn there. He sounds and talks like Ezra, like Thrawn, but he doesn't act like Thrawn. His posture, the way he moves, that regalness, I'm not getting. So it's literally Rebels, but not as good. So it was whatever to me. And also, what's up with all this B-roll shot, right? We're in this camp with all the hermit crab people, and we're focusing on literally everything for 50 minutes. And then we finally pan over to Ezra. So I don't understand why the show wastes so much time focusing on random rocks and all this stuff, moving the camera so slowly on non-important things. But that's it for me on this episode. I thought it was whatever. It didn't do anything for me really. And this should have been a huge moment, right? Ezra and Sabine are reunited. This was literally her whole mission up until this point. But they missed out on me caring about Sabine, and then so all of it all falls flat. I have hope for Thrawn in the future because the character is still Thrawn. It's just that he doesn't have that intimidating factor, like his presence. I'm not getting that presence that I got from Thrawn, and that relationship between Sabine and Thrawn. I don't know if we're going to see any of that. I feel like this show is going to fall flat on that also. Like, Sabine's an artist, and Thrawn colonized planets and took over planets and stole art from them, but he respected their culture and art, and he kept artifacts, and he recognized Sabine's talent, and like there was a cool dynamic between the two. We didn't get anything. None of that in this. I mean, they only talked for a short time. So I don't know if we're going to get any more of that in the future or what. But out of all the characters, my brother said Thrawn was his favorite character in this show so far. Obviously, just not looking at Anakin Skywalker. But I do have some hope for Thrawn. It's just that his physical presence isn't on par with what it was in Rebels. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What did you guys think about episode 6 of Ahsoka? Did you guys feel that reunion? Let me know. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.